Now I request Professor Aloysius, we have written many books on Dalit and Adivasi issues.
One who introduced me kept on saying I wrote many books on but I was thinking that these many books are not going to save the tribals or the Dalits of this country. And that is one other feeling of, should I write one more book or go back to the ground to do some more with them? It's a dilemma. I came here to academics after several years of activism. And I have a kind of serious rethinking that I should go back to the ground. This is my way of introduction. Lakshmipeta is not the first atrocity, and it is not going to be the last of. That has been very clearly stated. There has been a series of atrocities of various kinds in this country ever since we got independence. One, of course, is the Dalit atrocities on Dalit, continuous atrocities. Another on tribals for various reasons. And another on separatism and the northeastern places and the things and so on. And the fourth on minority, Muslims and Christians and so on. Now, I have a feeling this country will not run unless there is some periodic bloodletting. And the blood will be mostly of the weaker section, definitely of the Dalits and tribals, in that order. What else I have a feeling happened is that these atrocities as events, not merely as a confrontation between one group against the other, but also several groups like in the arena watching, have become functional to the running of this nation state. Have become functional. They become part and parcel of it. It has become an issue for the politicians. It has become a news story for the media. And it has become an academic subject for all of us. You know, as a middle class emerged in this country, we have gone wrong seriously somewhere. And this, Patiraran also was saying, it's not that this incident is different and that incident is different. He beautifully put that underlying all these incidents, there is a structure, there is a pattern. There is a connectedness, and also there is there is a premeditated conspiracy, design, etc. There seems to be something logical about all these things going on. And very often we are also part of the logic. We are also part of the logic. We very well know nothing is going to happen by our meeting here. But then we have celebrated it. And then some people in the field will go to the court and all that, and Satyanaran has very clearly explained that what is the meaning of going to court anyway? I have been for 25 years after this, taking seriously this democracy and then thinking that it will work. It comes back with a boomerang on you and make you repent that you ever take the democratic ways of acting. There is a consistent kind of underlying pattern in all this. And some of these I will sort of mention. I took it from these readings only. Officials are not doing their duty, as though they are supposed to do their duty. Whoever said they are supposed to do their duty? We are all in there for the jobs. We are all in there for, this jobbery. Jobbery is what constitutes all of us, and it will constitute all of you very soon. And ask any policeman that wherever you are that time, that पेशाब करने गया था. He was not there. He was not there. He was never there. He is never there. And then this is supposed to be taken. You are not supposed to be there. Why are you there? You just go away. And the second thing is this co-opted Dalits are not fulfilling their role as Dalits. Well, why are they co-opted in the first place to begin with? The unwritten promise, the unsaid contract is that you will uphold the basic values, not of the constitution, of this nation. And we can't blame them. We can't blame them. That's the way they survive. That's the way they survive. And the third thing is the pattern of activity of different groups is the same. All groups, they perform their functions in exactly the same, very predictable manner. You take from early massacres, when you right up to that, and put them, it was a very interesting study. The behavior pattern everywhere, exactly the same, including the academics, including the whole gang. We are reproducing, we are reinforcing. By reproducing, we are reinforcing. And this is not only with regard to the upper caste which suppresses the Dalit or the minorities and so on. And as I said, there is a connivance. There is a connivance in everywhere. One cannot escape the fact this is the kind of, when we go into a detail what exactly happened, who threw the first stone and what happened and all that. No, we know. This is, and even if nobody threw a stone, something would have happened, it would have come up. It is the whole thing could be understood not because if somebody had not thrown the stone, nothing would have happened. It's a kind of failure situation. It had to happen like that. Because everybody was ready. Everybody seems to have been ready. And that time no police is present and the vehicle is not available and so many things take place. Those who work in the system, they know very well how the system works. It is the whole colonial thing. In Singham district where we said, and then the function comes in a very innocuous way. PUCL comes to find out the atrocities and so on. Then the inspector says, don't go there, there is a problematic area. No, we are from Delhi, Delhi intellectual. Go there. Then after moving out of the city, then the driver tells there is no petrol there in the vehicle. Finished. That is over. You can ideologically, you can sort of, by order and all that, make all kinds of things. And we can debate it whether this is right or so on. But the effective thing comes from underneath somewhere through some suppressive, when we forgot the Bhumia, and the whole thing gets sabotage. Now these are all we know by the constant repetition. These have been. This is the way it works. This is the way it works. And the big judgment, for example, I carry still in my old activist today, few judgments from the Supreme Court. Hoping that sometime in my life I may be able to take it and then do something about it. It's a 30-year-old, but still when I see them I cannot throw them away. Because these are all positive judgments asking the parties to give some 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs for the workers, laborers and so on against whom they had gone for the Supreme Court and so on. But nothing has been done. The Supreme Court has given a very good judgment. Judgment is the matter. You have given a judgment. But what happens with that? The money claim. The simplest order was he collects the money as a land revenue. That means initiate a process from the district magistrate right back again. But then we are all interested in actualizing democracy now. So there are NGOs, there are people who finance all this, both internal and external, and there are a number of us waiting to be employed at some level or other. But then we are doing good. Anyway, we are doing good, definitely. But along with the goodness that goes in our commitment to various things, there is a bigger evil, reproduction and reinforcement of the system. That I would like you to be sensitive to. It has been very well said that atrocities is the response to assertion. You know, the point is, you are not supposed to assert. You are not supposed to assert. Why you are asserting? Simply because the understanding is that we have entered into modernity. This is the modern day. Everyone is equal to one another, and so I am actualizing my equality and so on. But I tell you, this consensus is only with a few of us here. Nobody believes in equality. Nobody believes that caste has anything to do with equality either. Very good. I can simply recite some dozen textbooks which all of you are got as assignment. You are reading it, reproducing it. Caste is a very mysterious thing, you know. For us it is a simple thing. It's an evil. It is to be eradicated. It is itself is a discrimination. There is no consensus in this country, least of all among the middle class. In fact, there is a very strong consensus that caste is very good, provided we remove some of the minor evils that are. Then we have removed them actually by Atrocities Prevention Act and a few other things and so on. Otherwise, caste is good. You know, this is our modern Indian ideology. This is the modern Indian ideology. Caste is good. And when you guys assert, what you do is, you are imitating the West. Imitating the West. Individualism, egalitarianism. All these are, borrowed stuff, no? I tell you, we are the biggest culprit in this, production of this. Caste is much more, it's a very nuanced sort of thing. One cannot so easily say it is about inequality. That we say only when we gather here, after the school hours, when we have a meeting here. But when we cross there or go up in the classroom, there is a different thing in operating. I tell you, the crying need is what we are doing today has to be carried back to our classrooms. Open up Lakshmi Beta and then see what is cultural studies have to do with this. What are human rights or social exclusion studies have to do with this? What is literature to do with this? We keep the mainstream safe that it will reproduce itself on its own logic. Now some of us here come here and then make a hue and cry. And then in fact the mainstream will support us to do it here. You know, caste as society has become a modern Indian ideology. Once you have the modern Indian ideology as the caste, we are allowed to do, any kind of anti-caste activities also. In an individual level, micro level, disconnected level, you are even encouraged to do all this. Because it doesn't at all address the level in which the grind, the mainstream, the deep current that goes on in this country. Continuous reproduction through academics, to politics, to media, etc. And this dominant ideology is not derived from Manusmriti or some old Shastras and so on. The old Shastras advocating this kind of birth-related discrimination are to be found in all religions in all pre-modern times. But eventually they kind of somehow disappear and move away. But in our country, these are all were brought back consciously through our colonialism, Orientalism and nationalism, and got re-established here as the ethos of this country. So when we are attacking Manusmriti, I am afraid we are attacking a wrong Manusmriti, who knows about it, who bothers about it, except now we have taken it as a matter for study, reflection and reproduction and so on. You see, there is something called internal phase of nationalism. Atika dan Dikalakaya, I will say it in English, for showing there is one set of teeth, and for chewing there is another set of teeth. Most of the time nationalism is. We are all given the, in the show, that what we call that, something is playing and then make your attack, your concentration through somewhere else. The roadside magician. That is anti-colonialism. But the actual thing is here, internal. And then I can always accommodate, I can always compromise with the colonial people. But the problem is here. In fact, this has been always. People who are born in different places should keep to their difference. Not think they are all one and then they are entitled to become one. This is the foundational value that has come to be valued when valorized, retrieved from history, and got it re-inscribed. Not only in our nation state, but also in our constitution and other structures and so on. Once you do this, then the message is clear. Which is more important? This inscribed value is more important. That is how you find when there is an appointment to the police, somebody from police is appointed to do certain duty. He also gets the message that he has to function his duty according to the ethos given to him. According to the kind of message that is underlying, which is more important than an obvious, your guideline manual which says that you have to be there or you have to be somewhere else and so on. Most of the establishment of constitutional provisions, despite our hard battle by Professor Ambedkar, they said true. They didn't challenge much. They said you do whatever you want, write up. But we will see to it, none of you are capable of reading and writing. What will you do? The leverage is within society. And this is like a cake, icing on the cake, it sits like that. Some democratic camouflage. This is very important to remember, because otherwise we continue to be surprised and we continue to make it as a subject of study. My own dilemma is, why is it there aren't enough atrocities going on around this country? Atrocities is not a subject of study, but nothing is taking place. In fact, it is also about corruption and so on. If 98 people out of 100 take bribes, bribe taking is not the research problem. Bribe not being taken by the 2% is the research problem. So our media and many of us, middle class people, we have no limit to our surprise. Say somebody took bribes, somebody took this, that. You ask the ordinary people outside, they will know, everybody does that same thing. He got caught, so he got into it. Why I am saying all this is, our theory of caste, our theory of the nature of Indian society, we need to really think hard on it. Not blindly say liberal democracy. Liberal democracy means very lax democracy. Now it's a substitute sort of democracy, it's a liberal democracy. Liberal democracy doesn't mean that. It's based on liberty. And we have set up some institutions, so we have a democracy, and then we operate on this. And all that Dr. Satyanarayana was saying, merely to kind of implement what he was promising some 50-60 years ago. And this struggle for the implementation is never gets accumulated either. You struggle and then get something done. Then someone comes behind you, doesn't get automatically what you got. He or she has to initiate his own struggle again. You see, personally you are engaged in this struggle of survival within this. So people are not, they will not be having that what you call the privilege of civil society. It is meant only for a few people. Elite in that country has civil society. All of us, I follow you. the ordinary people, have to be satisfied with political society, which Satyarana described beautifully. You have to do this or after that and so on. And then by the time another atrocities will come, how do you do that? Engage that. So there is another group goes on like that. I tell you, many of us meaning the groups lower sections of the society, do not need the state in India as much as the state needs us. This we have to remember very, very well. With throwing a few crumbs here and there, they are able to get a legitimacy, support, cooperation, etc. for their sectarian and communal projects. Now we may have to seriously think, academically discuss, the possibility of critical disengagement from the society. Long ago Gandhi started saying non-cooperation, but I have a feeling for a much better critical non-cooperation agenda, today the society is right. We have to tell the powers that are that you cannot take us for granted. You will beat us, and then you will also give us some subsidies. You know, I went to this Kandamal place. Killing is going on one side. On the other side, the pew is there for where they distribute, subsidy for those killed 1 lakh and for what their limbs cut from 50,000 and so on. It's not killing need not be stopped. Killing will go on. So the agency of the killing was the rightist forces and the so-called centrist forces, that is Congress and BJP and Congress, said we are giving you subsidy. So why should we stop the killing? It is so. You know, there is a beautiful division of labor between the two. You beat the minority and project conservative political phase, and I beat the Dalit and the lower caste, I produce a conservative social phase. I am politically progressive, liberty, democracy and the central state, constitution, etc., etc. But I will beat the Dalits and tribal. You beat the minority and then say you are a Hindu, you are a very inclusive society and all that. Carefully don't go near Dalit beating. And both complementary, activity. But we have to struggle enormously to find certain liberal tendencies among these people and hang on to them, reproduce them and reinforce them for whose benefit? I finish with saying that what are we supposed to do? I tell you, if we can engage meaningfully in somewhat stopping the reproduction we are doing of the grand notions of liberal democracy, the state theory, and then the various kind of progressive things that are happening in this society, and how the difference between court is more, the judiciary is better than executive, and stop also beating only the politicians. I have a certain sympathy for politicians, because every 5 years they have to come and beg you something. But then there are sections of the middle class which do not have to go to anybody for legitimization. And we also have the privilege of saying we are not corrupt, it's only the politicians are corrupt. I tell you, the system is corrupt from the beginning. We are all participants. At least what we could do is intelligently let us analyze and see how much we are participants in it, how much we are reproducing this, and to some extent intervene, stop this reproduction, so that reinforcement of this system which commits continuously could be to some extent restored. Thank you.